bank robber strikes and makes the mistake of a lifetime. A small-time criminal storms a bank. Unfortunately, it's closed. Crook robs savings bank. Silent and headless. Gangster robs money messengers and knocks himself out. Bodo Pfalzgraf knows all about clumsy criminals. There are always bank robbers who lose their IDs making their getaway. Look out! Here they are, the dumbest bank robbers. Coming in at number 6 in our ranking, the case Badly Informed. The criminal, Christopher Kay, is in a parking lot. From there, he's watching a bank branch. He's waiting until the bank has fewer customers, and that's when he wants to take his chance. According to crime statistics, bank robbers are most likely to strike on Thursday afternoons, followed by Wednesday and Friday. After all, even bank robbers need money for the weekend. If this bank robber had chosen Thursday afternoon, he might still be a bank robber today. Why, you may ask? Well, listen to this. Once things finally quieten down around the bank, our robber decides to strike. Ah, stupid belt. Right, come on, get in the bank, grab the money, make some cash, and finally pull this thing off. However, it's a dead end. Mr. K is standing in front of locked doors. What is going on? He looks inside the bank and is stunned. A very unfazed bank employee bites into his sandwich and signals to the bank robber, "We're closed." To make matters worse, the bank clerk then casually picks up the phone and calls the police. Only now does the bank robber realize his mistake. Lunch break! He waited too long. This level of stupidity really should be punished with a few extra years in prison. Read him his rights, officer. Ranked at number 5 is a case from England. Bank robbers don't have it easy. Security systems are getting more and more sophisticated, and there's hardly any cash to be had these days. We call it tragic mix-up. The bank robbing business is on the decline. There are far fewer cases, and there are actually only 2 main groups of offenders: those who prepare very well for such attacks and also tend to execute their plans quite brutally, and then there are those who decide to rob a bank spontaneously because they need the money, which often results in them making serious mistakes. This bank robber here is more likely to belong to the second group. Out of his depth and shaking like a leaf, he waves the gun in front of the bank clerk's face and demands the equivalent of $940,000. The cashier anxiously stacks the bills on the counter. The robber is nervous, very nervous. He's looking around, wildly flailing his gun through the air. Let's hope all it, he thinks to himself. Scientists have calculated the average income of a bank robber amounts to approximately $27,800 per year. This robber's income, however, will be much lower. Every movement and every noise in the room just makes him more and more nervous. The situation is really starting to stress him out. When the cashier asks him for the money bag, the bank robber makes a costly mistake. In his flustered state, instead of handing the cashier his bag, he ends up placing his gun on the counter. Very carefully, the bank employee reaches for the gun and picks it up. Our recommendation for this crook: he needs to be protected from his own stupidity. Please, lock him up. However, in 4th place comes the proof that you can be even more stupid than that. The case of the treacherous paper. The incident happened in Wuppertal, Germany. A small-time crook prepares himself meticulously for his heist. he has a precise plan and a great idea for how to carry out this robbery. For his plan to work, he's packed a few things. An old envelope to write on, pen, gun, bag and mask. No, where's the mask? Forgotten! Man! Never mind, not exactly a good start. He quickly finds a replacement for his mask in the fashion store next door. He pushes his message over the counter to the cashier. It clearly states this is a bank robbery. And so there's no room for any misunderstanding. He also pulls his gun out of the plastic bag. The clerk plays it safe and takes no risks. He takes out the money and places it into the bag. These days, between 70 and 80% of all bank robberies can be solved by the police. Bodo Pfalzgraf can explain this high rate of success. In recent years, detection rates for bank robberies have improved quite drastically. Due to the increased amount of video footage, we're able to pass on more evidence to the police for their investigation. But some bank robbers do make things very easy for the police, as shown by our case here. When the investigators arrive at the scene, the bank clerk passes on the only viable piece of evidence: the envelope with the threatening message. Equipped with this, the investigators begin their search for the culprit. While the small-time crook is celebrating his successful robbery and his newfound riches, there is suddenly a knock on the door. He opens the door and is immediately overcome by panic. It's the police! They hold up the envelope with the message. On the back, it clearly states the name and the address of the bank robber. Cases like this make crime investigation great fun. Case solved, take him away. Third place in our ranking is a dangerous breeze. Berlin, 2014. Michael M. is observing the customers of a bank. An elderly man has the full attention of the amateur bank robber. He watches the man at the counter have a large sum of money paid out, about $55,000 in cash to be precise, and there are a few business letters as well. The man then places the bundle of notes and envelopes into a textile bag. As he leaves the bank, Michael M. strikes. He grabs at the bag, but this is where it all starts to go wrong. The elderly gentleman defends himself and fights for his money. Then the bag tears. Michael M. runs away, but a young lady in high heels takes up the chase. If as a normal consumer you encounter a bank robber, the first rule should always be don't be a hero. The robber might well have a weapon. So just try to remember what they look like, what direction they fled in, or any details about the getaway vehicle. All these can be important details for the police investigation, but please don't try to be a hero and attempt to overpower the bank robber yourself. However, our high-heeled bystander is different. She stubbornly pursues the crook and manages to catch up with him. When she grabs hold of Michael M., he tries to use pepper spray on her. However, today's just one of those days. The wind catches the spray and blows it right back into the robber's own face. In court, the wannabe crook stated, "Just didn't go my way." We say, "Too right. Off you go to jail, Michael." Walchum, Germany in 2011 is where the incident ranked at number 2 occurred, self-service. Stony Broke 57-year-old Siegfried K. has come up with an idea for a bank robbery that should go down in history. At least, that's his plan. He'll take a hostage in front of the bank, grab the cash and then make his getaway by car. So far, so ill-conceived. To make sure nobody gets hurt, he has decided to get himself a toy pistol. A bit of black paint should be enough to make it look really authentic. After stealing a car, the would-be crook takes up his position in front of the bank. When he sees 52-year-old Elke L., he pulls out his gun, storms out of his vehicle across the street, grabs his hostage and drags her into the bank. Unfortunately for him, there's nothing inside but an ATM and a bank statement printer. There hasn't been a proper bank here for several years now, just another self-service branch. How stupid is that? The would-be bank robber escapes in the stolen vehicle. His profile is typical for bank robberies in Germany. Usually, the suspects are male, middle-aged, of German nationality and with money problems. To get rid of the car quickly, he abandons it at the side of the road. A little later, the police find the car and with it a mountain of evidence. Among other things, the toy gun. A lead the investigators are very grateful for. The evidence bank robbers leave behind at the scene can be very diverse, like sweat or saliva, and this can be very useful for determining the suspect's DNA. But also fiber particles from clothes can be very helpful. Thanks to traces of DNA left on the gun, the police were able to quickly identify Siegfried K. as a suspect. Why? Well, this wasn't the first time this repeat offender had been rather stupid. His criminal record lists a total of 22 crimes over the years. For this one, he ended up with 7 years in prison. Enough time to acquire a little more expertise. And now, the number 1 in the ranking of dumbest bank robbers. Reading skills help. London, England. This man is about to attempt his big coup. Speed is the key to his plan of relieving a bank of a few English pounds. Gun in hand, he storms into the bank and forces the cashier to hand over the loot. What the criminal doesn't know is that he is the only amateur surrounded by a large number of professionals. These days it's possible to take part in special coaching seminars on how to behave during a bank robbery. Police training includes a catalogue of steps to take in the event of a bank robbery. Banks and financial institutions do the same and train their employees for situations like this. For example, employees will learn that it's important to press a hidden alarm button in the event of a robbery. In this case, the activated alarm system caused the bank robber to panic and try to race back through the exit. Again to push the door open, but his efforts are in vain. The alarm system seems to have locked the door. The criminal realizes he's trapped inside the bank and his only option is to give up. He goes back into the building, surrenders to his fate, and waits for the police. Then he makes one last attempt to open the door, but still nothing doing. Then, incredibly, an older lady simply walks into the bank. It turns out the bank robber has confused pull and push. But it's too late. At least the police won't have to worry about a potential prison break by this master criminal. That's for sure. So let's sum up. The bank robbery business is clearly on the decline. And after seeing these cases, you'll probably have a good idea why.